name is Mark Macminn. I go under that as a solo artist or music by Macminn. Occasionally I have a band play with me, and we are Macminn and the Bear. And I also host the radio show as Mark the Folkslinger, which is also my YouTube show.
Silent lover, don't let me be wrong. I've been looking out for you each night that you're gone. Oh, silent lover, please sing me to sleep. Tender and softly now as your breath hits my cheek, and I'll dream of that land in the distance away, where you'll never leave and need no reason to stay. I'll dream of that land in the distance away, where you'll never leave and need no reason to stay.
I'd say my most exciting moments, I have a few. One of them would have been in Los Angeles, getting to open for Tom Morello when he was doing his night watchman thing at the Hotel Cafe. That was really exciting as a young artist. A lot of crazy people there. Most recently, my most exciting was getting to do a video shoot with Nova Foga. Sponsored a video shoot for me, and they did an amazing job, and the whole thing was just great to be a part of. I'd say there's kind of as many benefits as there are disadvantages. The benefit is you don't have anybody to answer to, and you don't have to ask anybody if they're okay with anything. I don't have to worry about if, Billy can't make practice because his girlfriend doesn't like the band, or if, Dave is unable to attend because he's drunk out of his mind. So not having to deal with people's social conflicts is definitely a plus. And after being in a band for a number of years and dealing with the drama that tends to follow a group, I think a lot of songwriters like myself found themselves in this position because they just kind of threw their hands up like, I'm sick of people, but I still love music. So here I am, writing songs. Any advice I could give would be to be flexible, to eliminate all ego that you can, be gracious, thankful, and you care about the people that play with you, and stop thinking that you're the best thing since sliced bread, because you're not. And neither am I. You like making music? Fantastic. Make music. It's your passion. Do it. That's what you're supposed to do with your life. It's what you want. But don't be a dick about it. I think that's the biggest thing about being a musician, is not being a dick. You just play guitar. You didn't cure cancer. Get over it. I think for me that was like a decade ago, so I don't know what it's like to be a band in Austin now. There's a slew of bands in Austin, so it's easy to get lost. It's oversaturated with musicians, and the thing I really enjoyed most about Austin in hindsight was, if people don't like you, they tell you that they don't like you. There's no beating around the bush. There's no, oh, you were so great, I love you so much. There's like, I don't like you, you suck, and I don't want to be friends with you. And at least you know where you stand with that person at that point. And that's what I really appreciated about Austin, because some of these other cities are not like that. Being in a band in Los Angeles is, everybody's friend, because, I don't know why. It's everybody's a genius. Everybody's the best. Everybody had the most perfect show, kind of all the time, every time. And as an artist, that can be kind of aggravating, because I know that I got up there and played a couple times, and I would know in my heart that, maybe that show was kind of mediocre that time. But I would get off stage and somebody would be like, that was amazing. And you're like, no, I know it wasn't amazing, and I know you're just like, blowing me up with smoke right now. That, and it's very competitive. It's hard to make any money at all. You pretty much don't make any money. And it's very demanding, you have to bring X amount of people to the show. There are those venues where it's like, you have to sell tickets, and if you don't sell 20 tickets, then you're going to pay the difference. And there's a lot of those things that you have to figure out along the way in a market like Los Angeles. And nobody holds your hand through it. It's, you either do it or you don't, and nobody cares. Being a band in Nashville is similar to Los Angeles in the competitive aspect. Everybody in Nashville is good. Everybody is talented. Every musical act that you will go out and see is fun and enjoyable. And even if you're not into what that particular band does, you can't deny that they're actually good at what they do. So it's very, very competitive. More competitive than Los Angeles. It's also very small, close, tight-knit social circles. And if you're not a member of those social circles, you're not included. You're not invited. You can't have a gig. I'm sorry, because we don't know you, and we don't know whether we like you or not. So on that point, talent kind of becomes irrelevant, because you could be the best singer ever in life, and if you're not friends, with so-and-so, then tough luck, See ya in 3 years when we're friends. So Nashville's hard. There's no money in Nashville for a young artist. And everybody's amazing, so it's really difficult. If you don't pick up the gig that somebody gives you when they give it to you, or you play it poorly, it's going to be 6 months before you get another gig. And there's 20 other acts waiting for the gig that you took. So, you have to give your all every single time for nothing. Most of the time. There are bands that do well. I was on that lower bracket, so it was always trying to climb. Being a band in Portland's pretty fun. It's similar to Austin in the sense that that creative aspect is, it's not affected by the business. Whereas in Los Angeles, Nashville, there's business, there's big business. There's big money to be made. There's pressure to be more and more commercial. Austin, the way I remember it, wasn't like that. Portland isn't like that at all. You have the freedom to find your creativity and go with it. And you can get up on stage in Portland in a skirt and like play one note on a saxophone for 30 minutes, and the audience is gonna, oh, that's amazing, it's so great. I just love a guy in a skirt playing the sax. Like, the audiences are so receptive, you know. And for me, I'm better now, but I'm still slightly jaded after being a musician all these years. And I'm like, how can you guys like this? That was okay, whatever. You know, people are just very receptive. They love to be entertained here. There's, even though acts are competitive, you don't feel that way. You don't feel like you're fighting against people for attention. And it's a lot of fun. It's kind of spread out. It took me a little while to find the music scene in Portland. And for the first year I was here, I didn't think there was one. And then I finally got out. I went to clubs here, I went to clubs there, and I was like, oh, here's all the fantastic musicians. Like, here's all the great shows. So once I found it, it's been great. It's really nice. Yeah, so I started the show Folkslinger with my friend Will, and it's been a lot of fun to do because it's given us an avenue to make these videos and do these things and use YouTube a lot more, since YouTube is becoming a main venue for music. So making the videos has been great. I do an original every now and again, but primarily it's covers because that's what people are searching for when they're on the internet. So that's been fun. Recently we started doing requests. So people that watch it and are into it and are like, oh, I wish you'd play this song, they can send the request, and then I'll do it, and we'll film a little video. So that's been good. It's kind of been a slow start. Some of the videos hit, and people watch the heck out of them, and some of them, not so much. So it's kind of hit and miss, and there's no real way to figure out what's good and what isn't. You just kind of keep trucking along. But I did start DJing at a local radio station in Portland called KZME. It's a really cool station. They only play local music from Oregon, or if a band's touring through town, they'll play that act. And I've always been told, oh, your voice, you should be a DJ. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should. So I started volunteering at a radio station. So every Sunday from 11 to 1, I'm on KZME radio, usually searching their library and playing my friends. And it's pretty cool. It's really easy. Running the radio station, it was way easier than I thought it was going to be. Technology is just a couple clicks. You can go to their website and listen to all of their broadcasts online. kzme.org. I use kind of as many social media sites as I find myself aware of, although I am trying to trim them down these days. I primarily use Facebook because everybody's on it. I use Twitter a lot. I've been trying to get Tumblr going. And those are kind of my three main things. I also have like a MySpace and a LinkedIn and like a Reverb Nation, and I don't know, I kind of forget them. Those are kind of my three main staples, I suppose: Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. As far as shows, it's been increasing a little bit lately, so I'll usually play 4 or 5 times a month. And I'm trying to increase that outside of the Portland area. Just more and more. It used to just be once a month, twice a month. I don't know. There's been so many years, Back in the day, it was 20 times a month. Now it's 5. So I think in the immediate future, the idea is to continue and open up the Folkslinger YouTube show and have more guest artists, have more friends come on and play songs with me. But I mean, other than that, it's just kind of keeping with what I have and seeing what works. I recently started seeing a consultant as well to help me think outside of the box, because I started to feel like I had confined myself in these limitations, and maybe somebody else has some more answers for me. And I started consulting with somebody in January, and she's been incredibly helpful with ideas. So that's something fresh. But it's kind of like an overall. It's kind of like if it's kind of like a manager for hire, in a sense, because you're basically paying somebody, sitting down with them, going through what you want to do with your career, and them helping you focus on what you need to do to make those things happen, or maybe open your mind to things you haven't thought of that may also work for you. So she's kind of a people person. She has this large network, and once you're kind of in that little tribe, as they like to say, suddenly you have a lot more friends and a lot more connections, and things start moving a little bit faster.